We are going live. We are live. What's going on, doctors? Dr. Jason Torado going here. Getting a little crazy today. That's what we're doing. Exactly. Yeah. All right. I don't know. We're just getting a little nutty today. What's going on, docs? How's it going? Dr. Jason Torado here. Monday morning. And today we got something special for you. We're going to keep it short and sweet. We're really just talking about the one thing that kills you in your report of findings. And I mean like kills you in your report of findings. You know, one of the things that comes up over and over and over again whenever I'm doing consultations with new chiropractors is how they feel like they stink up the joint when it comes to doing their report of findings. I mean, I think I coach chiropractors. You know, I think the biggest thing really is a lack of comfort when just simply communicating your treatment protocol or your treatment plan to your patients or communicating inside the report of findings. I think one of the reasons is because we're so confused, right? We get so much information on how to do this. And the bottom line is if you're not confidently communicating your treatment protocol or your treatment plan to your patients, then your patient's not going to listen to you. And if they're not going to listen to you, they're not going to trust you. And they're not going to complete your treatment plan, and they're not going to get better, and they're not going to refer, and they're not going to come back to your office. It's really simple because it comes across a lot of times your report of findings, because you're so bogged down with like the script and everything you got to do, that it comes across a lot of times as fake, phony. It comes across as if you don't know what the heck you're doing, really. And I'm going to tell you something that I was this way years ago. I was, and I'm talking like many years ago. I was in practice management company, and I don't want to tell you who it was, right? But I had been in several, and everybody had a different report of findings. Everybody, well, some guy had a 1 day report of findings, a 2 day report of findings. Another person had a 3 day report of findings. Another coach gave me a 4 day report of findings, and one person had a short script. Another person had a big script. I mean, it was crazy. I was going absolutely crazy. I didn't really feel like I knew what I was doing, and I always felt like I was selling something. And honestly, I didn't know what I was doing. And again, that's another conversation that we could have at another time. But if you're one of the many chiropractors that really lacks confidence or even comfort in communicating your treatment plan or your report of findings, then the real question is, and it should be this, the real question that you should look at, it's what I look at when I talk to chiropractors, is what is it that you're really uncomfortable about? Maybe it's something else that's going on inside your head. You know, if you ask me, for the most part, report of findings are structured really to, I mean, and I'll be brutally honest with you because you know I love to be brutally honest with you. If you ask me, most report of findings or that are taught by coaches out there, these report of findings are basically structured to set the stage for pretty much a scripted sales pitch for some type of care. It could, for some type of care, usually long-term care. And the longer the report of findings, the longer the term care that you're going to offer, right? And so that's why I believe that the best report of findings that you can give to your patient is going to be no report of findings. Now, you're never going to hear that from a coach. You really won't, because they're going to, obviously they got to justify their fee. But I'm going to be brutally honest with you. Like, I don't like to get a sales pitch from anybody. I don't want to get a sales pitch from a guy that's fixing, that's giving my car a tune-up. I don't like to get a sales pitch from a carpenter that comes to my house. You know those carpenters, they come to your house, they look around, or a roofer. I love roofers. They come to your house, they look at your roof, and they go, oh boy, you got a lot of work here. That's going to cost you a lot of money. Like, that's the first thing they tell you. It's like, wait a second. That's a sales pitch. I feel like I'm going to get suckered for a sales pitch, right? And then they hit you with the big bomb, right? Of, whatever it's going to cost you to fix your roof. But the reality is you don't want to get a sales pitch from your chiropractor. That's the last person you would think that you'd be getting a sales pitch from. Unfortunately, that's what a lot of chiropractors are doing nowadays. especially those chiropractors that are doing high volume, discounting their fees. They're just getting wrong information from coaches nowadays. And so I find that the best type of report of findings is no report of findings at all, really. And I mean no special paperwork, no special chart, no special room, none of that. It's all garbage because it's all part of a coordinated sales pitch to sell your patient on more chiropractic care. And you don't have to do that, really. So the best idea is no report of findings, no report of findings room, no report of findings script. You know those report of findings scripts, right? Those reports, I remember I love this one. I'm not going to tell you what group I was with. They start off with, well, I've got good news and I've got bad news. And then you're supposed to pause as the patient sits there wondering, what kind of bad news is this guy about to give me, right? You know those scripts. You know who talks about that. Or the other questions are, what do you want to hear first? The good news or the bad news? That's another coach that used to teach me that. Or worse even, I remember this one. You're supposed to say to your patients, or do you want patch care, or do you actually want to fix this problem? I mean, duh. Like, what is a patient supposed to say in a situation like that? Those are all coordinated scripts are designed to sell some type of care package, which is what used car salesmen do when you buy the car and then suddenly they want to sell you the undercoating package for $1,500. I mean, you don't want that from a used car salesman. You don't want to be a chiropractor that's using used car salesman tactics. None of those tactics are going to work. You cannot scare your patients into becoming a patient. I'm telling you that it doesn't work. And even if it does work, how do you sleep at nighttime? You can't. And so, look, perhaps you're not using any of these things inside your office, and that's cool, right? That really is. And if that's the case, then you really shouldn't have any problem sleeping at nighttime, and you shouldn't have any fear talking to your patient. You should be able to speak confidently. But there may be things that you might be inadvertently doing inside your practice, or maybe sometimes you're saying things that are very time consuming. You might be saying things that are negative to a patient, scaring a patient. You might be doing things that are kind of backfiring, or backfiring, or things that are not good or don't put you in a good light. And so you really have to be careful with what you say. And the best thing to do is not have a report of findings. Here's the golden rule, okay, when analyzing your report of findings. If you analyze your report of findings and you realize that, hey, you know what, and look at it as a consumer and say to yourself, hey, this might make me feel, if you listen to what you're saying, like let's say record yourself, and you listen to it, you go, that might make me feel a little bit uncomfortable, then I'm going to tell you something right now. You can bet your ass that it's making your patient feel just as much, if not more uncomfortable in that particular situation. All right, guys, so I hope this makes sense. I realize that this isn't going to make everybody happy, because I know you guys out there have your 1-day report of findings, your 2-day report of findings, your 3-day report of findings, and your 4-day report of findings. I realize that there are coaches out there that are teaching people to close patients hard. Look, I just don't subscribe to that. I don't think that works. And look, I've been doing this for 32 years, very, very successfully. I sleep at nighttime. Granted, I don't have any hair, and I used to have a lot more hair, but I'm telling you, this advice works. I'll talk to you soon, guys. If you need any help with your report of findings, shoot me a message below, and we'll get together. I'll shoot you a message back, and we'll set up a time, and we'll go over that report of findings.